Hello, I'm Judge Ronald B. Adrian of the Cleveland Municipal Court, a problem-solving court. The judges of the Cleveland Municipal Court are presented with the problems of our community every day. However, frequently making someone pay a fine or sentencing someone to jail just isn't the right thing to do to correct bad behavior. That's where the innovative programs created by the Cleveland Municipal Court come into play. And those programs are getting good results. As the court's administrative and presiding judge, I take great pride in the fact that our court fosters creative and alternative means of modifying bad behavior and turning lives around. Rehabilitation is as much a part of enhancing community safety as is punishment. Right now, our court promotes a dozen active programs to help people deal with the real underlying problems that landed them in court. Those programs are specifically designed to help people do things like breaking a drug habit, getting a driver's license back, or obtaining a GED. They also address the issues of mentally challenged offenders and breaking the cycle of domestic violence and prostitution. We still have a long way to go to make our community safer, but we're doing it by changing lives and minds one at a time. On behalf of all my colleagues here at the Cleveland Municipal Court, thank you for providing us the opportunity to serve. Again, I'm Judge Ronald B. Adrian. For more information on our problem-solving court, visit clevelandmunicipalcourt.org.
Listen up, Cleveland. Listen up, Cleveland.
Welcome to Listen Up Cleveland. I'm your host, Leah Haslage, and I'm here at the legendary Agora Ballroom for the 2013 Lottery League. Behind me, you can hear some bands jamming out right now, and they were all formed together by a random lottery. Let's find out more about this.
2013 big show is ready to begin.
I'm with the three chiefs, or three amigos as I like to call them, that are in charge of the Lottery League. Guys, tell us how this all even got started here in Cleveland.
Well, I mean, the real story is that this guy here came up with an idea after reading something that this guy here wrote online on MySpace. Basically, he was thinking that he wanted to break up all the bands and put together a fantasy draft. And this guy said, well, why don't we go ahead and make it a draft where beyond fantasy, because we don't want anybody to feel like they were left out, where we just randomly throw them all together. And the idea basically was born to collaborate the music scene in a way it's never been done before, a totally unique way.
What inspired that from you, Jay?
Well, I was doing a lot of collaborations with musicians throughout town, large collaborations, and we were just getting more and more people that were interested in doing these big music collaborations, and the impetus was seeing his post on Facebook where he was like, hey, why don't we have everybody break up? And I was like, well, we actually can do that.
Now, are you guys all musicians yourselves?
Yes.
That's what gave us the ability to pull this off in 2008 and 2010, is that we were all already part of not just Cleveland scene, but all the different musical scenes that are within that.
Now, why the Agora? Why have the lottery, have the big competition here today?
Haven't you heard? It's the legendary Agora. The reality was, beyond this being just such a place of Cleveland's legend and lore for music, it's been open for 100 years. We wanted to do it at a space that was much larger to draw people in. And I mean, the one thing about this, though, is it's definitely not a competition. The competition itself is within the musicians and trying to create within their bands, because we're drawing from all over the music scene here. So it's rock bands, with punk bands, with polka players, with people that are coming from every corner, and their musical styles are typically what differentiate them, separate them, and we wanted to break down those walls. So the real competition is just within the individual that's taking part. There's no one band better than the other or anything like that. It's just bring it to the stage, see what you got, and everybody tries to bring the best that they have, and it's artistic competition within yourself that we're asking upon our musicians.
Now, in past years, since you said 2008 was the first one, have many of those bands managed to stay together and still play out?
Yeah, we have 12 in our Hall of Fame. That went 6 from the first year, 6 from the next year. And then this year, we're trying to establish a season of the Lottery League. So the big show is the big free event that everybody can come to, but then we're going to have subsequent shows where the bands that carry on are going to have 7-inch release shows. One is going to be at the Happy Dog in the summer. Part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, who's a sponsor for us this year, they also are going to have a part of their free Summer in the City series that they do. They're going to have one of the shows, and we're trying to have it so that 7 inches for the bands that continue on are going to be recorded and then released at those shows.
Now, if people want to get involved, these other musicians in town want to be a part of the Lottery League, how can they get more information?
Well, the best thing that we could say is to just be active and be out there playing, and people will know and we'll find out, because that's how we bring in new members, is by members that are out there currently doing stuff, bringing in people who are actively doing stuff. So that's the best way to get in.
Yeah, the official way is that we wanted it to grow naturally through the scene. So as Jay was saying, we have the people that are part of it sponsor new musicians. So even when we're not active having the Lottery League and the big show, what we're trying to do is still encourage musicians to approach other musicians and say, hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to, and then what that naturally allows for then, if you're musicians, because we all play the same clubs and same venues, and we're all on the same, but we may not know each other or want to talk to each other just because they play different music than me, so people separate. So what we basically have had is a natural vetting process. So our musicians that are part of it this year sponsor all the new musicians that come in the following years.
This is a celebration of local music, and so that we're celebrating the people that are out there doing it. And
that's really what it's about. It's really about what Jay just said. I mean, this is a spotlight on the Cleveland musicians and the music scene as a whole. And we're Cleveland. We're known for rock and roll. We're known for music. Yet not too many people actually put a spotlight on the musicians. And that's what we do. We call it the lottery where everyone wins.
Nick Wolf, you've been a musician here in Cleveland for quite a long time now. What do you think of the music scene right now, currently?
Well, I think it's always been a case that there's a lot of great bands, but I think the one complaint is that a lot of times organization has come and gone, and I think being down here today at the Lottery League shows that it's strong, that there are a lot of great musicians, and there is something going on in this city, and just amazing things that you could see that happen in this city now. It's great to be a part of. Now,
what do you think of the lottery draft, the whole like fantasy football, if you will, of music here in Cleveland? What do you think of that whole concept?
It's an amazing idea, and I'm kind of mad because I've been wanting to do this for 4 years now. So maybe next year I'll be able to be a part of it. But it's a brilliant idea. Knowing some people that have been a part of it, since it started, and seeing the different projects they've done. It's a fun time. You never know what you're going to get. And the idea of just taking this whole group of city that, Cleveland has all these crazy people, and just throwing them in a hat and, mixing them up is an amazing idea.
Now, are there any local artists right now that you think people should know about, that they should be paying attention to?
Well, there's a lot of good guys about to play here. Tony Urba, my other buddy Aaron Dowell are both in bands here tonight. All these guys that are taking part of this, affects some sort of genre in this music. It's all genres. There's all sorts of music. So I think what's great about this is it brings out all the corners and all the alleys and, dark areas, and brings everybody together and exposes, you come down to see one of your friends playing this, and you're going to be exposed to, 20, 30 different bands that are going to open your mind a little bit. And that's what it's all about.
this your first time ever playing in the legendary Agora?
Yes, actually. Yeah, it was my first time playing here.
Well, congratulations, that's huge.
I'm pretty excited about it, actually. Yeah, I played a bunch of other places around Cleveland, but never here.
Now, what do you like about the Lottery League?
I like that I got to meet some really awesome musicians. Actually, it seems like my new band is probably going to stick together. So I don't not every Lottery League band forms and then stays, but it seems like we're going to stick. So.
But there are some Hall of Famers now.
Exactly. Actually, one of my bandmates is in one of the Hall of Fame bands. She's in Milk and Cookies, and now she's in our band. So.
Now, what do you love about the Cleveland music scene?
I like the convivial nature of the Cleveland music scene. Everyone is super supportive, and in an event like this where people are from so many different musical backgrounds, they come together, make something work, and whether or not they continue after this is kind of irrelevant. It's just a fun get-together. And the fact of the matter is, I don't know of any other city that's doing anything like this, so it's kind of fun.
Now, Rust Belt Revival, it's a really fun name. What's your sound like? What are you guys going for?
It's pretty straightforward rock, actually. A little bit of post-rock, experimental stuff. Do a little bit of vocal looping. But really, it's just 2 guitars, drums, and bass. That's what we're doing.
Do you find that there's a certain kind of music lacking in Cleveland? Like, polkas have a revival lately because of DJ Kishka, and metal is really huge in Cleveland. Do you feel that there's anything else that's kind of lacking?
Metal and punk are big in Cleveland. Yeah, polka's making a comeback. I hate to use the term singer-songwriter type music because it sounds douchey, but there is a certain lack of that. There's a lot of like, we're just going to get up and play our instruments loud sort of mentality. And I try not to do that with what I do. I like to actually put a little bit of thought into what I'm doing. But there's, there are definitely the quieter aspects of music that are lacking in Cleveland.
What's the passing of when we make all that breathe and die and slip away? Please tell me. Listen up, Cleveland.
Hi, I'm Annette Abranovich, and here at the City of Cleveland, we care about your health. Instead of spending your lunch break inside, why not take a nice walk outside? For example, if you work downtown, you could walk to the North Coast Farmers Market, located on the East 9th Street Pier near Voinovich Park. It's open on Thursdays from 11:30 until 2:30. Or perhaps you'd like to check out different routes. You can visit clevelandersinmotion.org for complimentary walking maps in different areas of the city of Cleveland. A nice walk will help lower your stress and recharge your batteries, along with providing other great health benefits. Again, I'm Annette Abranovich, and remember, wellness works.
Listen up, Cleveland.
Welcome back to Listen Up Cleveland. I'm your host, Leah Haslage, and I'm here on Payne Avenue for the annual Asian Festival. And this year they're going to give us a little history of Asian fashion. Let's take a look at the different cultures and what their costumes all mean. Yin, tell us about the fashion exhibition going on at the Cleveland Asian Festival this year.
Well, it was actually inspired by a lot of the festival goers. They kept asking me, and a lot of the performers, wow, your costumes are beautiful, you know, what do they mean, where do they come from, what country is it from, is there a religious, cultural significance behind it? And, you know, we figured this year we'll just get a bunch of volunteers, most of them have traditional outfits at home, and we'll do an educational segment where we can teach the public about what they're wearing, why they're wearing, a little bit of the history and whatnot.
Yeah, because there's many different cultures within the Asian community, different different families that had different dynasties and such. So there's different traditional wear to that, which people may not realize how in-depth it goes.
Yes, absolutely. And we didn't really touch on history that much. We had one Qing Dynasty costume. Most of it's contemporary, what you would see every day, and that if you were to shop and buy something and you wear it, you won't be completely out of place, because some of those robes can get pretty long. So.
And speaking of which, we have something here that we're going to learn to put on me right now.
Yes, this is called a sarong or a pareo, depending on what part of Asia you're in. And let me show you really quickly here. There's a couple different ways to wear this. The most easy way is if you wrap this seam in and the other seam on the outside, and then you just roll this down. And that's how you wear a pareo. There you go.
Many women wear to the beach.
Yes, absolutely.
But there's another step up we can take this.
Yes, there's quite a few actually. This one isn't long enough, but you can almost wear this as a sari and wrap over your shoulder, but in a much simpler fashion. The other way to wear this is as a prayuk, and the simple way is to do a double knot right here. It's gonna be a little bit crooked. Whoops. Sorry. Like a double knot. Fabric is not as silky as I'd like it to be. And then you would have these long tassels, and what you would do is you would pleat it in on itself, and then you would fold it and tuck it in, and then you can hold this all in place with a belt. Great for swimsuit season, by the way.
Yeah.
So.
I love it with my top like this. This is a good outfit.
It's very popular. Like, sarongs are very popular. You can find them anywhere, so.
Now, within this community right here by 27th and Payne, where the Asian Festival is, are there shops and the different places that women can go out there, and men can go out there and purchase different outfits?
Absolutely. There's one regularly inside of Asia Plaza. There's quite a few of them regularly inside of Asia Plaza. There's a Vietnamese shop. There's a Sister's Gift Shop. They sell traditional Chinese clothing. And there's a couple in the suburbs as well. There's the Orchard Fashion Boutique. I believe they're located in Aurora, and they come here every year to support us. That's the Vietnamese shop, by the way. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure it's going to be an amazing fashion show, and let's take a look at the different cultures and fashions shown this year, thanks to Yin, for our fashion exhibition.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're wearing the kimono, and the kimono is very, walk around, just keep walking, is very straight. We tie, everything is tied. There aren't any snaps or zippers or anything like that. Everything is tied, and show where the length is. It could be very long. Where do you hem your dresses? On the bottom, the Japanese kimono, where do we hem it? Sure. We hem it in the middle. So we tie it up to make it shorter, make an extra pocket, and that's how we make it shorter. So, thank you, Alexa, and thank you, Michaela. Now, what's this called? It's always on the crossword puzzle in OB. Thank you.
So, Brandy wears a hanbok, which is a traditional dress of Korea. A hanbok is worn as semi-formal or formal wear during traditional festivals and celebrations, such as a New Year, weddings, and birthdays. The hanbok consists of a full-length wraparound skirt that has no pockets, called a chino, a short bolero-type jacket called a jeogori, has a simple loop bow and long billowing sleeves. Brandy's beautiful hanbok is pink, symbolizing trust, and features embroidered, multicolored Rose of Sharon, which is a national flower of South Korea. Also in her hair, she's wearing a traditional bun and a golden hair stick called bio. Next, we have the ao dai, which is from Vietnam. Alzai is the iconic traditional clothing of Vietnam, dating back to 1744, when King Vu Vuong of the Nguyen Dynasty decreed both men and women should wear an ensemble of trousers and a gown that buttoned down the front. The modern version dates to the 1930s.
So you two go.
And thank you, Jennifer. Next we have another Jennifer and her brother Ryan. Alzai still remains popular and influential in the modern day Vietnamese culture. They're still women's favorite dress in traditional festivities or occasions such as wedding or graduation. In some schools in Vietnam, the white Alzai is considered school uniform for the female students. Let's give them a round of applause. And lastly, we have Jessica here wearing an orange Alzai. They're made individually to fit each customer's shape, so they're all tailor-made. It's a body-hugging top that flows over wide trousers and brushed the floor. Nowadays, synthetic or silk fabrics are preferred as they do not crush and are quick in drying, making the Alzai a practical uniform for daily wear. The Mongolian national costume is a robe-like garment called a deo. That, like the Tibetan robe, has no pockets. It's worn with a thin silk sash of several long yards tightly wound around the waist. Attached to the sash are essential objects, which unfortunately she cannot carry because it includes a knife. Most of the costumes are made out of luxurious fabrics, leather, and are very functional. Thank you. Next we have Cindy modeling the Payuk and Sabai from Thailand. This is a traditional Thai dress, and it consists of a very long piece of fabric, also wrapped around the waist, pleated down the front, folded to tuck in, and held in place by a golden belt. Now, for the most part in Southeast Asia, it was worn with just a skirt, but with modern, thoughts of modesty, they wrap a scarf around the chest and hangs down the back. Next we have China. We have Changshan or Qipao. A Qipao is a body-hugging, one-piece Chinese dress for women that became popular among ladies of the royal family in the Qing dynasty. At the time, Qipaos were fitted loosely and were so long that they would reach the insteps. Stylish and often tight-fitting, Changshan or Qipao, as most often associated with today, was created in 1920s in Shanghai and was made fashionable by socialites and upper-class women. Thank you, Stephanie. Now we have Liana, also modeling a Qipao. Starting in the 1940s, Changshan became more close-fitting and more radical. In summertime, women wore sleeveless dresses. They're often made of silk and embroidered with beautiful designs of flowers or birds. Next, we're going to take a history lesson with Sybil. In Chinese history, there are many dynasties. Each dynasty has its own unique costumes and hairstyles. Among them, Qing dynasty's costume and hairstyles are most distinguishable from the other dynasties. The royal women wore phoenixes on their headdresses and often golden ornaments. What is especially characteristic of this fashion is a large rectangular skirt with pockets in the sleeves and silk pajama-like pants. Here, Sybil has dressed her Hello Kitty doll to match her as well. Thank you. Next, we have the Hmong costume. Typically, most of the Hmong fashion dresses combine both ancient Hmong arts and modern designs. The difference in the design of the Hmong costume itself referred to by the areas of where the Hmong people live and the different dialects of the Hmong languages that are spoken. These dresses can be worn daily or at special events. Mostly the Hmong will wear their fashion dresses on a wedding day, New Year's celebration, and other important events. Hmong costumes come in 4 different types: white Hmong, green Hmong, striped Hmong, and Hmong Chinese. Next we have Louisa modeling the sari. Sari is a strip of unstitched cloth worn by women ranging from 4 to 9 yards in length that is draped over the body. It's popular in India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Burma, Malaysia, and Singapore. The most common style is for the sari to be wrapped around the waist with one end, then draped over the shoulder, bearing the midriff. The sari is usually worn over a petticoat with a blouse known as a chole forming the upper garment. Next we have Ariana, and we decided to throw in something contemporary and fun. This peacock costume is generally not worn day to day since it lacks practicality, and believe me, glitter falls off that costume like no tomorrow. However, it is a very popular dance style that represents Southeast Asia. The dance itself holds quite a bit of tradition. It is usually performed in a shallow pool of water where the performer splashes water onto the audience. This is to represent the water splashing holiday of Southeast Asia, where it's good luck to have water splashed upon you and wash away the bad luck from the previous year. Next we have Shiori, and she's modeling a summer yukata. Yukata is a Japanese casual summer kimono, usually made of cotton or synthetic fibers and unlined. Yukatas are worn by both men and women, and like other forms of traditional Japanese clothing, they're made with straight seams and wide sleeves. The standard yukata ensemble consists of a cotton undergarment, bare feet or sandals, such as the jita, and a foldable or fixed hand fan and a carrying bag. Traditionally, yukatas were commonly made of indigo dyed fabric, but today a wide variety of colors and designs are available. Next we have Sophia wearing kimono. Kimono is a Japanese traditional garment worn by men, women, and children. They're T-shaped, straight-line robes, and often the hem falls to the ankle with a little bit of a train. Kimonos wrap around the body, always with the left side over the right, except when dressing for a funeral. And the kimono is held in place by a sash called an obi, which is tied in a large bow in the back. Kimonos are generally worn with traditional footwear called jita and slip-toe socks. But here we like her shoes, the cute stilettos. And next up, we have Grace modeling a traditional Southeast Asian dress. It's very similar to the prayuk. It is without a sabai, and this is more commonly worn, probably without so much sparkle, but it's a tight-fitting dress with a wide flare at the bottom, which makes it easy for walking. And normally the cloth is made in one piece that is wrapped around the waist, worn by either a tube top or a tank top on top. Common places to find clothing like this are in the southeast regions of China, Thailand, and Indonesia. Next we have Tamra modeling a traditional Tibetan costume. The Tibetan dress is characterized by its long sleeves. These sleeves are sometimes called water sleeves because of how they elegantly flow when their arms are waved. They're used to keep hands warm in the wintertime, and the colors on the apron signify different aspects of nature we should remember to be thankful for. An example is that green represents the earth, blue the sky, and gold as the color of the sun's rays. Tibetans from different Tibetan tribes have different headgear that they wear. And last but not least, we have Erin. She's modeling a Xinjiang dress. She's modeling a dress from the Iramki area of Xinjiang. It is very similar to the Uyghur people of Xinjiang, where they have bag-like sleeves with a huge diameter of a dress, which flares out whenever they spin. It's customary to wear a front-opening vest over the dress as well. Small colored embroidered hats are favored by both genders, which are decorated with ethnic patterns of different kinds.